Vladimir Putin threatens nuclear war on ISIS. Donald Trump doubles down on his promise to bar Muslims from coming to America. A crazed Muslim, and by the way, a Hillary Clinton supporter, threatens to circumcise Donald Trump. And Time magazine chooses as its person of the year German Chancellor Angela Merkel, arguably the one person, aside from her esteemed predecessor Adolf Hitler, to make the most progress in destroying Europe and bringing the rest of the world down with it. My name is Howard Riell, and this is Riell Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com and on Facebook and YouTube and Tumblr, and in the book Riell Truth, Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM, The Lion. Our call-in number is 877-254-7524. My friends, this is from an item in the Daily Mail dated November 7th, just about a month ago. I'm quoting. Violence erupted in the streets of Berlin today as thousands of anti-immigration protesters clashed with police and countered demonstrators. Pro-immigration activists took to the streets of the German capital to shout down the yells of the anti-migrant demonstrators protesting against Merkel's open-door refugee policy. Furious Germans condemned Ms. Merkel, waving German flags and chanting, "Merkel must go," and "traitor to the people," unquote. Related item. From DrudgeToday.com, German police were forced to pepper spray a fare-dodging Islamist, that's someone who gets on the train without paying a fare, on Sunday after he reacted badly to having his ticket checked, attacking officers, trying to snatch a police handgun, and screaming Allahu Akbar. The 23-year-old Moroccan asylum seeker spoke no German and savagely attacked police on Sunday in Osnabrück station, hospitalizing two and injuring a third. A railway employee decided to call in police on this occasion, as after attempting to check the migrant's ticket, the man began to act strangely. Events took a turn for the violent as police arrived, and the man immediately flew into a fury. Attacking a female police officer, the man kicked and bit while screaming in Arabic the Islamic war cry, Allahu Akbar, and crying out in the name of the Islamic State. In the end, it took 3 federal police officers to pepper spray and cuff the man. The female officer was left with a massive knee injury, and another officer was treated at a local hospital for a broken rib and bites on his forearm. Both are now off duty to recover from their wounds. Despite being kept in handcuffs, the man even tried to repeatedly grab the service pistol of a police officer, reports a news service in Germany. Once at the Osnabrück police station, the man continued to give trouble by spitting at officers, unquote. So, my friends, how do we go from this to wrapping our brains around the fact that Time magazine thinks Angela Merkel, who has thus far this year brought 960,000 Muslim immigrants into Germany, how do we wrap our brains around the fact that Time magazine thinks she is the person of the year? Well, I guess it depends on what your person of the year is. If it's the person who's done the most good for the world, Angela Merkel is bringing destruction on her own people, which doesn't bother me, on all of Europe, which doesn't bother me that much, and on the entire Western world, which does bother me. Now, if you want to say the person of the year should be the person who has affected the world the most, now, okay, you can make a case for Angela Merkel because she is tied at the hip to the Muslim terrorists, the jihadis, who want to destroy the West, and she has pushed the door open for them. Now, lest you think that Germans are the only self-destructive nation in Europe, let me offer you this item from Reuters. More than 100,000 Britons have signed an online petition to ban U.S. Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump from the country, following his proposal to ban Muslims from entering the United States. Trump, who owns 2 golf courses in Scotland, which he visited earlier this year, called for a complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States, quote, until our country's representatives can figure out what is going on, unquote, following last week's deadly shooting spree in California by 2 Muslims. The UK has banned entry to many individuals for hate speech, the text of the British petition said, unquote. My friends, it's one thing to die before your time. It's a tragedy. It's a far greater tragedy to bring your death on yourself. From Angela Merkel in Germany to this 100,000 people who answered the survey in Britain, both countries are desperately begging the Islamic world to destroy them. You've seen the horror going on in England with Muslims, and yet anyone who says don't let Muslims into your country, they hate. You see the destruction that Muslims are causing in Germany, Muslim immigrants. And yet there are a lot of Muslims who agree with Angela Merkel. We got to bring in more. My friends, aside from maybe Donald Trump and a few pundits here and there, I don't know anybody who's going to give you the truth, so I'll give it to you. Where Muslims go, destruction follows. Hatred, violence follow. They don't assimilate. They don't want to assimilate because they hate the local population. They hate the local society. They want to control the government, change the laws so that Sharia law is in place instead of local governing laws, in our case, the Constitution. These are facts. No matter how much they make liberals squirm, they are facts. No matter how much they make some people in Germany, England, other countries in Europe squirm, they are facts. And I'm presenting them to you because we are not yet as far down the road to our own destruction as Europe is. We can still slam on the brakes. For all the pundits out there saying, I can't believe what Donald Trump said, that's not all you can not believe. You also don't seem to be able to believe the fact that Western society is under attack and America is being invaded. And the one person who's the most out front about wanting to stop that invasion and nip it in the bud, you're taking pot shots at, trying to delegitimize. I don't know what it is about Western civilization that has caused us to commit societal suicide. But I'm going to do everything in my power to see to it that my society does not commit suicide. Because I got to live here. And when I'm done living here, my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren are going to live here. And so no, I'm not willing to play the PC game and throw open the doors to millions of people who want to kill us. Not going to happen. And if you're listening to this show, I'm betting you also aren't going to let it happen. It's Wednesday. It's Riell Truth. I will be back.
We all know that our government is out of control. Who are the people in it? How can we, the people, bring it back to the people's service, not the people's masters? What they want in the people around are saying, officials in government must be made accountable for their actions. AccountabilityRevolution.com is the place to go to learn how you can actually make that happen. Become their judges, not their slaves. AccountabilityRevolution.com.
Let's keep telling Fort Collins honors our fighting men and women, all the veterans who have gone before you. We salute you and thank you for your sacrifice. Our prayers go with you and your family. This military tribute, Hospitality at 4212 South College Avenue, Fort Collins. Check out our daily specials or call for delivery. 970-226-1711. That's 970-226-1711. Great people, great food, great service. Call today. And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish
Hi guys, we're back. The show is called Riell Truth. Fairly confident about that because I named the show myself. I'm Howard Riell. I did not name myself. However, I am here to put some truth in front of you. What you do with it is between you and your conscience. Here is Paul Joseph Watson. This comes from Infowars.com, talking about the politically incorrect truth surrounding Islam. Here we go.
Is not a religion of peace.
Well, the argument is this, that there's no Muslim who's going to take him on in a contest of ideas, because that's not what Muslims do. So asking Muslims to get back to him with a counter-argument is ridiculous. They may get back to him with a machete, but that's about all. Item from InfoWars, a crazed Muslim, speaking of which, perfect timing, a crazed Muslim and Hillary Clinton supporter responded to Donald Trump's controversial comments on immigration by threatening to circumcise the Republican frontrunner. The individual, whose YouTube channel is entitled Ebu Ba, appears in a video maniacally waving knives about while vowing to cut off Trump's penis. Quote, Donald Trump say today on the news in front of all millions of people, Donald Trump say that they're going to ban Muslims coming to America, states the man, who then says he's going to put Trump on the spot. After accusing Trump of having no respect or manners, the man screams, quote, I am a Muslim, before calling Trump's mother and father a blank. Quote, your entire family, you are all bastards. You are a bigot. You don't even know the value of America, the man screamed. Stop! My friends, I don't mind being lectured on the value and the values of America by someone who knows what the value and the values of America are. I cringe, though, when I have some guy threatening to slice into another human being telling me that he knows the values of America and I don't. But we continue. The man then picks up 2 kitchen knives before stating, quote, I have bought a knife from Amazon. I will circumcise you. I will circumcise you. You are nothing but a bastard. Who the blank do you think you are? The man continues, quote, ban Muslims for what? Blank you, Donald Trump. The man then repeats his threat, remarking, quote, I will circumcise you. I will cut your blank. Who the blank do you think you are to open your mouth and say this blank to Muslims? Although some of the individual's other videos appear to be satirical, there was little to laugh about as he waved knives in front of the camera while threatening to attack Trump. In another video, the man holds a gun in front of the camera while stating, quote, go ahead, mention one more time ISIS is Islam. If you say ISIS is Islam, I pull a bullet right in your blank. Unquote. To the freak who made this video, ISIS is Islam. Item from the Washington Examiner. Muslims are the fastest growing religious group in the world, with 23% of the global population, and will take over Christianity as the top religion by the end of the century, according to Pew Research Center. A review of Muslims by the nonpartisan organization also found that the share of Muslims immigrants with permanent residency status in the U.S. doubled from about 5% in 1992 to 10% in 2012, representing 100,000 immigrants a year. Pew also found that Muslim immigrants prefer more government services and that 70% lean Democrat. Only 11% identify with Republicans, unquote. So, my friends, 2 questions answered in one shot. Remember the movies where Robin Hood shoots 2 arrows and he hits 2 bullseyes with one shot? 2 questions answered. 1, why are the Democrats working so hard to bring Mexicans into this country? Why are the Democrats working so hard to bring Muslims into this country? Could it be that Mexicans vote 80% for Democrats and that Muslims vote 70% for Democrats? What that means is, between illegal immigrants and immigrants from the Third World and the Middle East, the Democrats are bringing in millions and millions of new voters, and in the process, they're destroying America, destroying our society, violating our laws, and seeing to it that innocent men, women, and children will be raped, intimidated, beaten, and killed. Also that the Democrats can have more power. Now, my friends, you can vote Democrat if you want, but if you are, turn my show off. Because I'm talking to intelligent people. Look at the damage the Democrat Party has done to this country over the decades. I just don't get it. Item from The Independent. Vladimir Putin has said he hopes nuclear warheads will not be needed to deal with terrorists after Russia launched cruise missiles from its submarine at Syria. During a meeting in the Kremlin, Russia's Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu told the president that caliber cruise missiles have been fired by the submerged Rostov-on-Don submarine from the Mediterranean Sea for the first time. Unquote. President Putin, as long as you're threatening to shoot nuclear weapons, I don't think you need to shoot them at Syria. Saudi Arabia, on the other hand, might be a very, very good choice. Just set your GPS for the Kaaba. Item from Rush Limbaugh. This comes from yesterday's show. I'm quoting El Rushbo. Some days they just tee me up. Some days they're just too easy. Question, has Loretta Lynch arrested Trump yet? Well, isn't that the kind of stuff she said she's going to do, starting arresting people for? Why hasn't he been arrested? Greeting, my friends. Welcome, Rush Limbaugh. Everybody, now Paul Ryan has joined in. Everybody condemning Donald Trump. The conventional wisdom is that Donald Trump's insane. He's a lunatic, crazy. This is dangerous. This is bad. It's un-American. It's unacceptable. He's got to go. Original, except he's leading. A big problem. Even Dingy Harry, and by the way, all of you, blah, 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 Dingy Harry said Donald Trump is standing on the platform of hate, and I'm sorry for him, hate that the Republican Party has built for him. You Republicans, you can denounce Trump all day, all week, all month, and the Democrat Party and the media are still going to say you laid the table for it. You can condemn Trump all you want, but it's not going to buy you any love or respect or admiration from the drive-by media and the Democrats. Now, folks, the conventional wisdom is that Trump is scum, that Trump is a reprobate, that Trump is dangerous, Trump is obscene, Trump's insane, Trump's a lunatic, Trump's dangerous, Trump's got to go. Why join in with that phrase? Why join the crowd? Never fall in with conventional wisdom here. I want to look at this in a different way, as I'm wont to do, and I want to look at the politics of this. Now, my friends, Rush Limbaugh goes on and on and on, and I won't because we're about to hit a break. Go to rushlimbaugh.com. That's where you're going to find his whole peroration from yesterday, and it's worth reading because he's taking an eyes-open, common-sense look at everything that Donald Trump is saying. And that's what all of us need to do. We'll take a break. We will be back.
Judge, thank you for joining us today on the Corby Couch. What is your assessment of this relationship that we're seeing? Truth is a radical relationship.
At Happy Head Stop Biz, we love Happy Head Stop Biz. Our phone was 303-829-5948. Rehabilitation and Nursing Center of the Rockies reminds everyone the chance of involvement in an auto accident rises dramatically with the consumption of alcohol or use of drugs. Please think before you drive. Don't let drugs or alcohol ruin your life or take the lives of others. You are responsible for your own safety as well as the safety of those around you. This message from Rehabilitation and Nursing Center of the Rockies. For information on their services, call 970-484-7981.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom catered capabilities as modest as emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design systems, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. He was in the world, and the world was made through him, and the world did not know him. He came to his own, and his own did not receive him. But as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in his name, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 10 through 13. Article 4. The right of the people to shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
All right, guys, I'm back. Howard Riell, Riell Truth. You didn't really think I was going to go anywhere, did you? I am here for the duration. Now, I love it when liberals get their asses kicked. And that's what happened here on Fox News when Judge Jeanine Pirro sparred with famed liberal Geraldo Rivera. They're talking about San Bernardino, talking about Islam, talking about terrorism. Let's listen.
Judge, we thank you for joining us today on the Kirby Couch. What is your assessment on this relationship that they're seeing in terror truth? This is a radicalized relationship. Excuse them. We can't let them in on these visas that are simply rubber stamps. We have to understand that it can no longer be politically correct. The neighbors said, we sold these, Muslims, and they were doing it in boxes, and we didn't want to say anything because we didn't want to be politically incorrect. That's hogwash. We're in a new time right now, and the time demands that we say something. Everything that starts with this White House with Muslim terrorists is intimidating us to the point where we're afraid to say something because the White House is saying we shouldn't. So that's where we're starting. That's where the problem is.
It's very true. To veneer of political correctness on top of all of this, you mentioned the K-1 visas and what these visas are and how she got here. We've got some information you'll put up on the screen about these K-1 visas. If you married your fiance within 90 days of entering the U.S., you can qualify. Both parties are legally free to marry. If you met in person at least once within 2 years of filing your petition. But do you feel like in the world we live in today, with radical Islamic terrorism, whether it's in Paris or out in California, we can have the kind of visa programs like this that really are, they seem to be very wide open.
They are, Major, and the only reason I hesitate is that I remember the movie Green Tour with Gerard Depardieu, how there is no doubt when these fiancé visas are used to defraud the immigration system. Marriages of convenience, and have historically been. My only caution is if you're going to stop it for the Muslim world, you've got to stop it for everybody. And again, I come back to the haunting fact.
You see how liberals think, my friends? If Muslims are killing people, Muslims are beheading people, Muslims are blowing things up, killing 10, 20 people at a time, but you can't single them out. What we do for them, to them, has to apply to everybody. This is childish thinking. It's simplistic thinking, and it is typical of liberal thought or unthought. Let's go back to it.
Overstay the visa. You don't get a drone. They get a drone to overstay it. As you said a while ago, but now
My friends, why does Howard Riell yell about liberals so much? You know, among my friends, it's a joke. Whenever anyone uses the word liberal, they look at me and they laugh because they know I'm going to go off. And I don't go off. I only go off on the air. Liberals are the problem, not Muslims. Muslims are like dandruff. We can get rid of the Muslims in a minute if we wanted to. Liberals prevent us from doing so. If the Muslims are, to create a metaphor, the enemy outside the gates, the liberals are inside the gate, opening the gate. Just like Geraldo Rivera is doing here. If someone puts a plan on the table to stop Muslims from waging jihad, he's going to stop it. He's going to torpedo it. No good. Well, I'm guessing if Geraldo Rivera's wife or daughter had her throat slit, he might feel a little differently. What's the old expression? A liberal is only a conservative who hasn't been mugged yet. Let's finish this up. All right, shut up, Geraldo. My friends, we don't need to strike a balance. We need to strike at Islam. We need to keep them out. We need to kick them out. Unless we do, we guarantee that the next generation, generations to follow, will live in a world where things regularly go boom, where people are beheaded, knifed, raped, here in America, by Muslim immigrants and the children of Muslim immigrants. As their population builds up, thanks to the Democratic Party, they'll get more and more political power, more political sway, and that will be the end of America. Now is the time in history when we can stop it. Now, not next year. Now we have to stop it. Item. From the Holy New York Times, turning 16 for many teenagers means finally driving a car without supervision or starting the college search. But now a new campaign is hoping to add the ability to vote in local elections, unquote. My friends, all we need is 16-year-olds voting. God help us. We'll be back. All right, guys, all done. Please share this video with everybody in the known universe. I'll see you tomorrow.